And hopefully the lights are good, everybody. Hello, hello. Welcome to another one of the Daily News and Motivation. Today's special guest is
April Jones, creator of Blooming Burgundy Rose.
Hey, and like always, Andrew. We're just gonna jump into the news a little bit. Have a conversation with April and get some motivation and head out. So, what's new with the world news today? That's not too loud for you.
Here are some of the top global news stories for today, Tuesday, November 11th, 2025. U.S. government shutdown nearing end. The Senate passed a funding package to end the longest U.S. government shutdown in history, sending the bill to the House for a final vote.
Okay.
The deal was advanced by a coalition of Republicans and some Democrats, drawing sharp criticism from others within the Democratic Party. The looming shutdown had already caused flight disruptions, with the FAA instructing airlines to cut traffic due to understaffing. Terrorist attacks in South Asia, Pakistan. At least 12 people were killed in a suicide bombing outside a courthouse in Islamabad, with the Pakistani Taliban claiming responsibility. India. A blast in a car near the Red Fort in Delhi, which has so far claimed 13 lives, has been officially handed over to the National Investigation Agency, NIA, indicating authorities are treating it as an act of terror. Other major international stories.
So yeah, that kind of goes with what we looked into yesterday with India. They just had a big bust too. I don't remember what that was all about, but something's going on in India, Pakistan. It's always something, guys. Always fucking something.
See controversy. U.S. President Donald Trump has threatened to sue the BBC for $1 billion over the editing of a speech in a 2024 documentary, leading to the resignation of the BBC's Director General and top news executive. Syria/U.S. President Trump hosted the Syrian president's top diplomat, Deputy Foreign Minister Bassam al-Shara, at the White House in a historic and highly scrutinized meeting following a partial suspension of U.S. sanctions on Syria. Climate Summit. The UN Global Climate Summit, COP30, has begun, but U.S. participation is being criticized after the administration did not send representatives.
All right. So, yeah. Somebody had to fucking quit because Trump was being a dick about some shit that was manipulated. That's one way to put it. What do I want to know about? What do you want to know about? Do you want to know anything about the news specific out of that topics this morning?
I don't. I've been following your news topics most of the week, the last week or so I kind of have an idea of what's going on. But
good deal. So I thought the shutdown was pretty much done with. It's a little Gemini conversation here.
That's understandable. It seems like the situation is very close to being fully resolved, but it's not quite finalized yet. Here's a breakdown of the current status. The Senate passed it. Last night, Monday, November 10th, the U.S. Senate passed a bipartisan funding package in a 60-40 vote. This bill is designed to end the longest government shutdown in U.S. history. The next step is the House. The bill now has to pass the House of Representatives before it can go to the President to be signed into law. The House is expected to vote on the measure as early as Wednesday. What the deal does. The package would fund most federal agencies through late January 2026 and guarantees back pay for furloughed federal workers. So, while the Senate's vote is a major breakthrough that suggests the end is in sight, the government is not officially reopened until the House passes the bill and the President signs it. Would you like to know more about what caused this record-long shutdown?
No. Does this solve the SNAP benefits problem?
That's a critical question, as SNAP benefits have been heavily impacted by the shutdown. The good news is that the funding package passed by the Senate does include full funding for the Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program, SNAP, through the end of the fiscal year, September 2026. However, the current situation for recipients remains complicated. Funding is included. The bill contains the necessary money to restore full SNAP payments and ensure the program is stable. It also guarantees that states that use their own funds to continue benefits will be reimbursed.
Okay.
The problem isn't fully solved yet. The government shutdown is not officially over until the House passes the bill and the President signs it into law. Current delays in partial payments. Due to the shutdown and conflicting court orders over the past week, many SNAP recipients have received only partial, reduced benefits for November or have not received them at all. The administration is still fighting in the Supreme Court over whether it is required to provide full benefits immediately. In summary, when the funding package becomes law, the money will be there to fully fund SNAP and resolve the crisis. Until then, millions of people are dealing with reduced or delayed benefits, though the end of the shutdown will officially fix the problem. Would you like to hear more about the legal fight over the SNAP payments that has been happening during the shutdown?
I don't know. I think there's something more going on in the world with everything going on, but we'll play pretend. No, what else is going on in the world?
I can certainly give you a broader look at what's going on in the world today, focusing on international politics, security, and the global economy.
No, let's just dive into the 13 people that were killed, South Asia and India. I think they're cracking down.
That is a tragic situation. Here is the latest information regarding the two separate fatal incidents in India and Pakistan. Car blast near Red Fort, Delhi, India. Incident. A high-intensity explosion occurred in a slow-moving Hyundai 120 car at a traffic signal near the Red Fort metro station in Old Delhi on Monday evening, November 10th. Casualties. The death toll has tragically risen to 13 people, with over 20 others injured.
Why that location with the 13 people killed, the Hyundai car?
That is the central question the investigative agencies are trying to answer right now, as the location near the Red Fort is highly significant. While the investigation is still ongoing and a definitive target hasn't been named, here are the key reasons why the area around the Red Fort is a high-value, symbolic location for a potential terror attack. 1. Symbolic and historical significance. National landmark, the Red Fort, Lal Killa, is a UNESCO World Heritage Site and one of India's most important national symbols. It was the seat of the Mughal Empire for centuries. Independence Day site. Crucially, the Prime Minister of India delivers the annual Independence Day address from the fort's ramparts every August 15th.
Okay.
Attacking its vicinity has deep symbolic meaning, aiming to strike at the heart of Indian sovereignty. 2. High density and high profile. Crowded public area. The explosion occurred at a busy traffic signal near the Red Fort metro station. This area is constantly crowded with commuters using the metro, tourists visiting the fort and the adjacent historical complex, shoppers and vendors in the busy Old Delhi area. Maximum casualty potential. Targeting a major public intersection or transit point like a metro station is intended to maximize casualties and create widespread panic. 3. Current theories on the blast location. The investigators are currently exploring a few different possibilities regarding why the explosion happened at that exact spot. Intended target, the Red Fort, or the crowded street/metro station, was the intended target for maximum impact. Panic trigger. Sources suggest the explosion may have been triggered prematurely in panic. The main suspect, Dr. Umar, and his associates were reportedly part of a wider terror module that was being busted across multiple states at the same time. This pressure may have forced the person driving the Hyundai Y20 to detonate the device before reaching the final planned location. Botched transport. The car might have been transporting the device to an entirely different, perhaps more secure target when the device exploded either accidentally or due to mishandling. Because of the extreme symbolic value of the Red Fort, an attack in its vicinity is seen as a direct challenge to the nation, regardless of whether it was the final intended strike location. Would you like an update on any of the suspects linked to this incident?
No. What about, wasn't there some formula recall, some baby formula or something like that?
You are correct. There is a very significant baby formula recall that is currently a major health news story. The recall involves By Heart Whole Nutrition infant formula and is related to an outbreak of infant botulism. Here are the key facts about the expanding recall as of today, November 11th, 2025. Details of the formula recall. Company and product, By Heart Whole Nutrition infant formula, powdered formula and single-serve sticks. The problem. The formula has been epidemiologically linked to a multi-state outbreak of infant botulism. Preliminary testing by California health officials found the bacteria that produces botulinum toxin in an open can of the formula fed to a sick infant. Expansion. The company initially recalled 2 specific lots last week, but after a call with the FDA, has now expanded the recall to include all ByHeart infant formula sold nationwide. Impact. At least 15 infants in 12 states have been sickened and hospitalized since August 2025 after consuming the formula. No deaths have been reported so far. Action for consumers. The FDA and ByHeart strongly advise parents and caregivers to immediately stop using and dispose of any ByHeart formula product they have. Infant botulism is a rare but potentially fatal illness, which is why health officials are treating this recall with high urgency. Would you like more information on the symptoms of infant botulism or where to find formula replacement?
Yeah, what is infant botulism? Sounds like a Democrat. Maybe a Republican? I don't know.
That is a very important question, given the severity of the recall. Infant botulism is a rare but life-threatening illness that affects babies under the age of 1 year.
Okay.
It is a medical emergency because it attacks the nervous system and can lead to paralysis. Here is a summary of what causes it, the major symptoms, and how it is treated. The cause: bacteria and toxin. The illness happens when a baby ingests spores of the Clostridium botulinum bacteria. Intestinal growth. Unlike older children and adults whose mature gut bacteria prevent this, the spores in a baby's immature intestinal tract can grow, multiply, and produce a powerful neurotoxin, a poison, that is absorbed into the bloodstream. Source. Spores are often found in soil, dust, and are why honey should never be given to infants under the age of 12 months. In this current case, preliminary testing suggested the presence of the bacteria in an open can of the recalled formula. Key symptoms: the floppy baby. Symptoms usually start subtly but progress rapidly. Parents are often advised to look for signs of descending paralysis, meaning weakness starts in the face/head and moves down the body. Early signs: subtle. Critical signs: severe. Constipation, often the first noticed. Loss of head control, floppy neck, poor feeding, or a weak suck reflex. Difficulty swallowing, leading to drooling. Weak or altered cry, more high-pitched. Difficulty breathing or respiratory arrest. Decreased facial expression. Generalized muscle weakness and floppiness. Treatment. It is critical that infants showing symptoms receive immediate medical care, usually in a hospital's intensive care unit, ICU. Antitoxin. The main treatment is an antitoxin called botulism immune globulin intravenous, BIGIV, often referred to as Baby Big. This helps to neutralize the circulating toxin. When given early, it significantly shortens the hospital stay and decreases the severity of the illness. Supportive care. Infants may need mechanical ventilation, a breathing machine, if the paralysis affects their respiratory muscles. When treated promptly, most babies with infant botulism make a full recovery. Do you have any other questions about the recall or health guideline?
No, I mean, that's some really hard symptoms. I mean, I think a lot of babies under a certain age, I don't want to get too technical, everybody's a little different, but are floppy. You know, their breathing may not be perfect. Drooling. I mean, my 1-year-old still drools. Yeah, I mean, it's all circumstantial and how it's all going on. Obviously, if you think your kid's fucked up, bring the kid in. Be careful, guys. Watch out for that.
You mentioned 12 states. Which 12 states were the...
I think it was nationwide, moved to nationwide. Was this nationwide in all 50 states now, or just 12?
That's a great question for clarification, as the two numbers refer to different things. The recall is nationwide in all 50 states, but the illnesses have currently been reported in 12 states. Here is the distinction. Recall scope, nationwide. The company...
So yeah, the symptoms are in 12 states. Recalls in all symptom states: Arizona, California, Illinois, Kentucky, Minnesota, North Carolina, New Jersey, Oregon, Pennsylvania, Rhode Island, Texas, and Washington. So be aware, guys. Be aware. What else we got going on in national news?
In U.S. national news today.
Let's see. Sign approval, final steps. Just kind of scheming or scamming.
Veterans Day today.
It is Veterans Day today. Happy Veterans Day to all you veterans. Whoop, whoop. If you're a veteran, let me know what part of veteраnism. That's what they should make it. They should call it veteраnism. And just, that's their religion too. I'm just talking shit, guys. All right, let's jump into a little bit of, I don't know, what's going on locally.
That's a great pivot. Since you are located in Fairmont, Minnesota,
yes, sir.
Here is a brief summary of the most important recent local news and community updates. Top local headlines. 1. Community Center project discontinued. The Fairmont Area Community Center Foundation, FACC, announced this week that it will discontinue its efforts to build a YMCA-operated community center. The foundation cited project delays and financial challenges as the main reasons for abandoning the project, which had been in development for over a decade. 2. City Council meetings and new business. The City Council held a meeting on Monday.
So, yeah, that YMCA, I believe, was supposed to go right by the hospital and high school. And now, we'll wait for another 10 years, maybe.
November 10th, with an agenda that included a preliminary consideration of allegations against an individual subject to the council's authority. This portion of the meeting was subject to possible closure to the public. Leaf pickup. Section 3 leaf pickup began on Monday, November 10th, and will continue through the end of the week, November 14th. 3. New local business. Rose's Nail Salon recently opened for business in Fairmont, offering new pampering options to the community.
There you go.
Safety and traffic updates.
Your nails
there was
done.
A report of a school bus and vehicle collision on Highway 109 west of Easton last Tuesday, November 4th, injuring both drivers. Fairmont events and notes. Veterans Day. Note that the Airport Advisory Board meeting scheduled for today, November 11th, at 5:30 p.m. was canceled due to the observance of Veterans Day. Fundraiser. Fairmont resident Jeff Sauer is putting the fate of his 3-year-old beard in the community's hands this month in a No Shave November fundraiser to aid 3 different local organizations. Would you like more details on the community center decision, or perhaps local events happening later this week?
Yeah, that nail salon is right across from the Opera House. I believe the Opera House is not going to be the Opera House after the first of the year if we don't raise like $3 million. No, I really don't. So one thing, like, I like, local news and everything, but we need to start doing some more around here. Yeah, Rose's Nail Salon, drove by that last night. Got a strobe light that says open when it's dark out. That was pretty cool. Community projects, kind of went through them. Nothing new on that. How about the 7-day forecast? We still looking at some 60s maybe this weekend?
That's great news. You are correct that Fairmont is expecting a nice warm-up, potentially hitting the 60s this weekend. Here is your 7-day weather forecast for Fairmont, Minnesota.
Okay. Fairmont, 7 days. Where are we at? The 11th today, 51. And we're going to go to Wednesday. It's going to be 52. Thursday the 13th, 54. Friday, we are looking at 60 again. I think earlier in the week it said 64, 65, but now it's looking like just 60, which that's still pretty hot. For November 15th being 60 Saturday, and then dropping 20 degrees for Sunday, well, almost 14 for 46 degrees on Sunday, and then 43, which I'm going to assume after that, guys, you better enjoy. It looks like we still got 25%, maybe 15% of leaves still on trees. So I'm sure come springtime, we'll all have to clean up our leaves. Other than that, I don't have too much else on the news and weather. Let's shift my thoughts on our guest, April, and I don't know, maybe pick your brain a little bit, talk to you a little bit. By the way, April's my sister, if you didn't know that already. She was nice to join me today.
If I had facial hair, maybe we'd
Yeah.
look more like.
Yeah, well, maybe next time. I'll get her to put on a little. But yeah, Gemini was listening to the whole conversation.
Well, I hope Gemini doesn't think I actually want facial hair.
So, yeah, so just going to bullshit a little bit, and then we'll leave you guys on some motivation. I think one thing that's kind of weird is we both kind of had this, I don't know, thought, feeling, movement, whatever you want to call it, kind of around the same time, almost to the day. So I think that's kind of weird. Yeah, we're like a lot of families. We don't necessarily get along. We get along most of the time, but we don't get together all the time. Right. We're busy doing our own lives. We're figuring out, how many more, whatever. I don't know, life. So it was kind of fun to find out that, and kind of like, what's going on? Is this real? Like, I kind of went through a couple stages of, okay, what is she doing? Oh, she's doing the same thing. Oh, it's not really the same thing, and looking into
right.
stuff the way I do. So I would like, I know I don't want to make it sound too interviewee and too
as long as
whatever.
It doesn't sound like a job interview.
Oh,
then
definitely.
I'm fine.
Okay, definitely not. But I am curious, and maybe other people are too. How, what kind of got you down? Why?
Well, I can backstory all the way up to the age of 18, and
I don't know
43.
Guys, this live stream is going to be 15 days long. She's going to go start at 1, and then I will after she's done.
Right.
No, but
I'm just going to give a little backstory on things that I've done in my past, real quick. I originally went to school for massage therapy. I worked in the legal industry. I've worked in medical. Now in finance, and the one thing that I found that all of those things had in common was helping people. But none of them really took my heart to a place that made me feel like I was putting something in the world that people might enjoy or actually benefit from. So that's kind of where the direction of Blooming Burgundy Rose is going. There's a lot of nuances and things that I want to do, but it's all very in the beginning stages right now.
Okay. Huh. Well, I guess I knew you did them things in your life because I am your brother. So I do know you a little bit. I never really put, that together as in, they were all really, helping other people, I didn't go that route where it come to my epiphany. I had a lot different outlook on life and a lot different, learned a lot still, worked hard, got to where I thought I wanted to be anyway, and realized that that's not really what I want or what may or may not be here for. So I kind of had an epiphany or whatever words you want to use. And I kind of want to do something different with my life. I'm 42 now, and there's got to be more. There's got to be something more. There's got to be, looking in like all the research I've done in the last 6 months to looking into everything, which I think a lot of humans do sometime in their life. And just having that pivot moment in my life is kind of what brought me to where I am now. Trying to get my voice out on YouTube, trying to do more of the interview, learning people, I guess, maybe is kind of part of it. But yeah, I think that's really odd that we both kind of started a social presence at the same time.
The last federal holiday.
Yeah, so pretty recently too.
Yep.
So I think that's really cool. I think a lot of the things that may have happened in our childhoods shaped us a lot of the adults we are now, along with how we dealt with that as we became older. Has a lot to do with where we are now. And that's a good thing, I think. So that's awesome. Awesome. Is it, I don't know how to just bullshit with you without making it sound like a question and answer thing.
No, it can be. It's just like when we were sampling questions.
Right,
I was like, I think I answered that question in an interview for a job.
Well, you got to be careful what you ask AI to do for you. You know, it can't do everything. There's still that human aspect that needs to be created by none other than us humans. But give me like 3 questions that you would ask your sister.
Love that.
See
I might have sampled that option.
That's a fun prompt.
Okay.
Since I don't have a
let me see. What is the small changes you made? Okay, so let's like, if you could go anywhere right now, this is kind of taken from that, but if you could go anywhere right now on a trip in the world or off the world, anywhere.
Well, I'm not going to what's
Venus?
Yeah, I'm not
Don't
going
go to Venus. Don't go to Venus.
You know, Hawaii
Okay.
has been big on my list for a long time.
Okay.
Not giving out personal information on live TV.
Okay.
But if you follow history and you know me, then you'll know why Hawaii would be important to me. Also, St. Thomas, the islands. Maybe I just have a thing for islands and never being off the continental U.S. So yeah, I think that'd be really cool.
I think, I'm with you. Definitely out of the United States would be a trip if I had to take a trip somewhere. There's so many places, so many people, and I kind of watch a lot. Although I do speak a lot too, and I'm outspoken a lot of the times, but I like to watch people, not like creepy, but like it'd be interesting to me just to see how other societies work.
Culturally.
Yes. So I mean, anywhere and everywhere. Even small islands and whatnot. Obviously, my old lady's from Puerto Rico, so that's definitely going to happen whether I want to or not, which I do. But I kind of think of like bigger cultures that are big or that are quote unquote next to the United States or against the United States or whatever. Not necessarily North Korea, because that shit sounds crazy, but I'm crazy enough to go to like China, like Beijing, Japan. I would like to go to Japan just because we bombed the shit out of them, and now they're like our allies. So I'd like to see what them people actually are like instead of what we perceive them as. Germany, Poland. I think that's my blood, so I want to go there. I like Russia, how them people work, how Russia and Germany and Europe, all kind of everywhere in that area would be. I'd spend years there just talking to people if I could. So tough one for me, but on a fun vacation, let's say.
I was gonna say, I was thinking like somewhere I'd want to go for fun. Let's add Italy and Spain.
Yes, for sure. For fun, yeah, it would probably at this point in time I'd be Puerto Rico just to go sit on the beach and hang out with all the kids on the beach and do something like that. So, and watch that culture, because that, from what I've looked into, seems pretty awesome as well. You got any like major goals you're working towards that you want to talk about or can talk about?
Sure, absolutely. Other than building my online presence, which is slow moving for me because I have in the past actually banned myself from Facebook.
Okay.
So other than keeping up with friends and family, I haven't really done a lot with it. So that would be one of my main goals, just getting content out there in positivity and personal growth and spirituality and that kind of thing. Eventually, I have a lot of interests in healing and alternate healing and the metaphysical and spiritual, like meditation and Reiki and stuff like that. So I'd really like to, in our small area here in Minnesota, there are people that are interested in those things. There's just not a lot of venue for it. So, to create a community, I guess, is kind of my big goal.
Awesome. Yeah, I mean, that around that line are things I'm really interested to. Obviously, I kind of go everywhere, but yeah, I mean, I think there is a really big and growing presence in the world of that line of things.
Right. I agree. It's been ongoing for a long time. It's getting more prevalent, I think. More people are interested in learning about it.
I think more people are becoming worldly, more open to, also closed at the same time. Maybe that's where YouTube picked it up from. People are watching shorter and longer videos. People are getting more worldly at the same time. I think we're getting more closed and narrow-minded at the same time. And I think it's time for people that may have felt a certain way their whole life or have been a certain way their whole life to start showing that. With that being said, is there going to be more probably of the other side too? More of the closed-minded, that is not the way to think, this is the only way to do stuff. People out there, yes. But that's why it takes people like us and communities to get together and talk about stuff. And that's kind of my interjection of that. So no, and that's awesome. That's awesome. And I hope it's life-changing for, everybody, and everybody gets involved. With that being said, we've kind of been doing this for 32 minutes. I don't want to bore anybody too much. I did want my sister to come on and kind of just hang out and tell me a little bit about herself. We got a couple questions in. You got anything motivational that could wrap up what we talked about today and move us forward through the week? See what Gemini.
That's a great request for a forward-looking wrap-up. Here's a quick piece of motivation. Your focus for the week. Remember that the smallest positive changes you implement are often the ones that create the biggest shifts. Just as a single, well-framed question can unlock a deep conversation, a single, focused effort this week can move you substantially closer to your long-term goals. Don't let the daunting size of the goal overshadow the excitement of the journey. Identify your high-impact action for today. Commit to it and trust the process. How can I help you take the next step on one of your key goals for the week?
Well, we'll definitely tackle that a little bit more. But a little bit of positivity, a little bit. Remember that the smallest positive changes you implement are often the ones that create the biggest shift. Go throughout your week like that, guys. You'll be fine. All right. That's it for today. I'm Andrew.
April.
See you next time. Maybe she'll be here on another one. Maybe she won't.
I think so.
All right, guys. See you later.